Good evening. It's Joyful Christian Hermit. Here's a couple little more. Here's a scripture from Sirach. It was about a week ago, but it has to do with, fits in with Lent and with fasting, things we can offer not to do, or offer to do that replaces things that we would have otherwise done. But it's Sirach 35, 1 through 12, and this is just part of it though, just a short section. To keep the law is a great oblation, and he who observes the commandment sacrifices a peace offering. So, not breaking the law, fasting from not doing something wrong that we maybe not be a legal law, but something that we know is not the best to do, to not do that. And it can be an oblation to keep the law, even some law that we have made, or a decision we have made, like what we're going to fast, what we're going to stop doing, keep away from. To keep that is an oblation. It's an offering to God. It's a sacrifice, like a peace offering. In other words, is what it says here. Okay, and it's a peace offering. In works of charity, one offers fine flour, and when he gives alms, he presents his sacrifice of praise. So that's good to remember when we give alms during Lent, or focus on that. There are three things that Scripture mentions: prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. In our, they didn't have it, but the 40 days prior to Easter, prior to the resurrection, we traditionally have included prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. So if we keep in mind that our almsgiving, be it monetary, temporal, actions of helping someone or doing something good, any kind of gift giving, encouraging people, that when we do it as a sacrifice of praise to God and to that person, child of God, beloved of God, created by God. To refrain from evil pleases the Lord, and to avoid injustice is an atonement. To avoid injustice is an atonement. To be at one, and at one-ment. Somebody left a comment. They've been under terrible persecution by insurance carriers from an injury at work. Oh boy, do I know how that goes. Between lawyers who sold me down the river, my own lawyers, two different situations with that. My knee injury at the store, yes, it was their fault. That led to my knee replacement that failed and my bad knee now. But the insurance company tricked me and cheated in the end. I didn't get anything to help pay for the surgery, not any of the extra that I had to pay for, nor the pain and suffering I went through, and all the work I couldn't do on my place then. It just took me down further physically. But they tricked me. They took the time down, kept saying they would, and then no. And I learned I should have had a lawyer at the very beginning handle it. But they seemed so nice. They had a woman talk with me and keep in touch with me for about 6 months. And then the rest of the year and a half, it was just putting me off and tricking, and I was so stupid and naive and trusting in them. It seemed so nice. I couldn't believe anyone would do that when the very store said, no, we're liable for this. And they pay their insurance company. They buy insurance to be covered, but the insurance double dipped. Not only did they not do good to me, they keep taking money from the store, paying them to have insurance. So anyway, yeah, but it's really, we can avoid injustice by staying clear of it, And of course, this means to not do wrong ourselves, not to be unjust to someone. But it did ended up the best. What could I do? I called a lawyer at the last month. It's too late to really do anything, and I would have had to travel to another state then at that point. So I just decided I had to let it go. But you feel violated. I know how this person feels, especially the lawyers. That was major way back. With my divorce and also with the car accident. I got terribly ripped. And they were my own lawyers. And they just wanted easy money and not to have to fight, not to have to do anything extra. And so, I had to let that go. And it's just best because God wanted me to understand He'll take care of me. And that I don't need what I thought I need. God has always provided. 3 kids are through college. Of course, they had to pay student loans. But I paid what money I had then. Used up the rest of my money. What I did get from the divorce. And from the kid who was underinsured. But it all works out. But I had freedom to be with God and to live life. And it took a bit to get over the persecution from my fellow church people. That was the worst. Clergy and things. Hurtful. But let it go. Don't deal with injustice. It's just as well. And I finally learned it with this other person, this other hermit. And she seems to have stopped for the most part. I mean, I don't notice, I don't pay attention. I had to stop. I had to let go of her detractions and all that. It's like, I had to realize just how silly and bizarre. And because all it was doing was keeping me from enjoying fully 100% my vocation, my beautiful life here, and my relationship with God, which is most important of all. So, appear not before the Lord empty-handed, for all that you offer is in fulfillment of the precepts. Always have something to offer God. Our love, our humility, some virtue or a vice that we're giving up is an offering to God, or our fasting we're doing in Lent here. The just man's offering enriches the altar and rises as a sweet odor before the Most High. That's beautiful. The just man's sacrifice is most pleasing, nor will it ever be forgotten, and that includes the sacrifice of being cheated or taken advantage of. Letting go, that's a sacrifice to let it go. But it says here, it is most pleasing and it will never be forgotten by God. And I'm talking about things that, we're not going to win, or if we want to spend the rest of our life fighting, is it worth it? When God will provide. So, doggies need to go out before Betty buys. So, God bless His real presence in us. But there's always, I'm finding all these things that apply to our Lenten fasting and our Lenten prayer and our Lenten alms.